So I'm Frankie. Um, I do not consider myself religious at this time. Not a big fan of structured religion. I grew up Pentecostal friendly holiness, very strict and staunch upbringing. A lot of people do not seem to identify with Pentecostal friendly holiness as a denomination. So I'm not really sure if that's like a standard or if it's something my family may have created. I do Well, I am currently working on healing some religious trauma that I have over that. Now I am definitely very spiritual. I do believe that there is a God. I just also believe that all of the religions coming together and there not being one set belief or one set way that you have to walk is how to kind of do life. I'm very connected to nature and really find myself very rooted and um, can find a lot of peace from being in nature. So that's me.
And then I'll go ahead and go. My name's Kayla. I think I would consider myself spiritual and I guess religion too. I do identify as a Christian. I didn't know until recently what the difference was between different Christians. So if we're gonna be specific, I would identify as Christian Baptist. I always grew up being Christian Baptist. I have had I feel like a good upbringing. I never felt pressured to believe what I do believe. I grew up in the church. I grew up with doing little Awanas and doing Bible studies and little things with other little kids as well as church camp. So I feel like I do have a good relationship and I do believe in the Holy Trinity. Um, but I'm not biased as to me. Well, not biased. I'm not what's the word? I guess I'm open-minded to hearing everybody's story and other things as well. I don't believe it's good to just say you're better than one another or think you're higher than another, but that's just me.
Hi, my name is Chloe, and I don't think I would identify with a specific religion. I could say that I'm spiritual also. Like I agree with what Frankie said with she doesn't believe that there's one set belief and how she finds peace in nature. And I do too. I really like being outside. I like going on walks. I think that's more calming sometimes than some people would say turning to the Bible. That's how they would do things. I do think it stems from growing up. I was like forced into being a Jehovah Witness, and it kind of just turned me away from everything religion because I really only knew you can't celebrate this, you can't do this, you can't do that. And so now as I'm 20 and in college, I am trying to find my right path and I was trying to find clubs and everything that revolved around God. I do believe in God. I just don't associate with religion.
Yeah. And I don't know about the two of you, but I know that sometimes in my life, being someone who's Gnostic, who kind of believes in all of the things, um, it's a really tough kind of topic to talk about. So with this, I guess we've got to generate some questions. And I did a little research. Well, one with reading the textbook, right? They talk about the examples of questions for implicit spiritual assessment. And there's a list there. So I kind of like read over that. And then I was thinking, I know that like whenever someone asks me about religion, I like it to be like not assumptive, like not assuming that I'm a Christian or not assuming that I'm not a Christian, like for it to just be open. How do you guys feel about that?
I like that response. I would agree with that. Honestly, like just as a person, I think it's so good to be open and to hear other people's stories.
I think so too. It's very important to be open-minded.
I think one of the other things that's really important about the questions is like for them to be like open-ended, um, instead of being like where it's a yes or no question, like do you believe in God or are you a Christian? Kind of asking it in a more open-ended way so that you're not seeming like you're fishing for the client to like tell you that they're religious. So I don't know. How do you guys feel about that?
I think it's a good way to slowly like encourage or motivate somebody to want to share more.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll get them to be able to get into more detail. You'll get a better understanding of them when they can branch off of more than just a yes or no question.
Yeah, and I feel like it also kind of like I don't know, like respects their autonomy. Because I feel like if I asked you like, oh, so are you a Christian? Then you assume I'm a Christian and maybe you've got to be like me for,
Yeah.
you know, and maybe it could even create like one of those oh, what is it? When someone thinks you have a higher
Like
power over them.
superior?
Yeah. And so they just agree because they're like, oh, you know, you're the social worker, so I've got to match you. So
Mhm.
um I think those are things that we've got to really kind of think about when we're figuring out what our questions are.
Yeah.
So any thoughts on what type of questions that you think we should ask for our 3 questions? So I guess one of the things that I would actually like to start with would be just kind of to asking them what type of things either like nourish them spiritually or make them feel better, and kind of give them examples. You know, is it music, nature, intimacy with someone, whether it's, you know, sexual or non-sexual, or meditation, creative expression, that type of stuff. So that's one of the questions I think I'd like to start with, if you guys are okay with that.
Yes, I'm okay with that. I think another important question to ask them is like, how is their beliefs important to them? How is it meaningful to them? I think you can learn a lot about them and they'll be able to branch off about that.
And also ask like, do you like if they think there's a difference between like spirituality and religion as an individual self, or like what is their view on that too?
Chloe, I'm sorry, I'm making a note.
Mhm.
What can you kind of tell me your question again?
Yeah, when it comes to their spirituality or the religion, like how is that important to them? What about that is meaningful to them? I think we can also ask them like, what does that mean to you? Like, what does spirituality or what does religion mean to you? And then whenever they give us that answer, we can just branch off of that and ask more questions.
Sorry, I'm making a quick note.
Mhm. It's
Because I think we already discussed that I'm going to be the interviewer
mhm.
and Kayla's going to be the interviewee and Chloe is going to be our note taker. So I'm just trying to make myself a note so that I can know what I'm supposed to ask that we just kind of agreed on. So what does spirituality and religion mean to you, and how? Well, Chloe, I forgot what you said already again.
Yeah, how is it meaningful to you, important to you? And then another one I said was we can also ask, what does spirituality and religion mean to the person?
Okay, forgive me if I don't say it verbatim,
Hmm.
but yeah, do you guys care which order I ask them in?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so we've got our questions. Kayla, are you ready to be interviewed?
Yes.
Chloe, are you ready to take notes?
I am.
Awesome. Thank you. Okay, so Kayla, I guess I'm just gonna do this as if we've already met before and the assessment's continuing. And maybe we're just gonna talk about like stresses of school and work and kind of how you're just, I don't know, I'm assuming you feel like me and things are just a little overwhelming. Um, so we'll start there, okay? So I'm gonna act like I already know you, but we'll start it now. So hi Kayla, it's good to see you. How are you
Hello.
today?
I am tired.
Oh, I'm so sorry. It's Friday, so at least we're there.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna continue to get to know you a little better today. And one of the first questions I'd like to start with is, when you're tired or stressed, or even just in your regular day when things are going great, like what's the type of stuff that like nourishes you spiritually, or like, I don't know, like fills your bucket or makes you feel good and positive? Is it maybe music or nature, close relationships, creativity? Like, what kind of boosts you up?
For my spirituality aspect, feeling balance is really important to me because I have OCD and I have ADHD. So for me, it's also my superpower in a way, but in another way, it's also like can be exhausting if you don't use it right or you overuse it. So for me, spiritual wise, I feel like when I'm on balance, I actually like to go on walks, but not to use it in such fitness way. I also use fitness another way as a spiritual thing. I do like hot yoga and other stuff like that. But for me, I will just do walks just to clear my head, be spiritual, one with nature. I also like to work with dogs sometimes, just to feel their own like empathy and like emotions. And I do believe in like having what is it called? A service, it's not a service dog, it's called something else, but it's like those dogs, an emotional support dog. There you go. I do believe in those. I think that's super helpful for me at least, looking into that also. Um, but on the a little bit on my religionish side or like my own personal beliefs, I do have a jar and it has basically positive Bible verses, and it will have the verse and a quote with it as well. So I will pick one based off if I'm happy, sad, feeling stressed out, tired, and I pick a certain color based off of that, and then it gives me like a positive response to go on without throughout my day.
It sounds like you've implemented a pretty cool coping skill there. So, can you tell me, you mentioned spirituality and you also mentioned religion. Can you kind of explain to me, do you think there's like what's the difference between the two of those?
I think religion is based off what you practice in a way. So for me, even though I identify as Christian Baptist, um, there is some things that I do agree with and some things that I do have questions about, but that's just something that I do feel one with because I also feel that I have felt the presence of the higher up, which I call like God, or you could call the Holy Trinity, Jesus, um, to all in that aspect is the same that we believe. But I do feel a sense of like relief, calmness, just overall wellness when I feel complete. It's literally like you feel complete in a way. That's the way that I feel with religion, but with only, well, not with only, but with my certain religion that I align with. And then for spirituality, it can be so broad. It can also tie into religion. Sometimes I feel that spirituality does tie into religion when I'm worshiping and when I'm in the worship service. Like I do feel very spiritual. I feel like I can feel the vibrations. I feel like the people around me's energy. Like I do believe spirituality can intertwine with religion, but you can also branch off with spirituality in different ways as well.
So, it sounds like to me that you do think that there's a difference between spirituality and religion.
Yes.
And so, with your practice in your life, like you've already kind of shared some things, and I've seen you kind of, your body posture has kind of perked up. So, it does seem like it gives you some encouragement. But what are ways that it helps support you in like your day-to-day life? Like, do you ever find that you're having to lean on it for strength or for courage or
Definitely for strength and courage at times. I feel like I'm as an individual, like I can be very strong and um just be very, I guess, motivated in certain areas where people would just be like, that's a lot to handle. Like, I don't know how you do it. Go, like, that's not what I can do. But I also just feel like it comes with not only with what I believe with, but me as an individual as well. So, like, I can also separate, like, when I do feel tired, it is okay to take a nap. It is okay to step back from things. Like, I won't just be like, well, the grace of God gave me the willingness to keep on going and just stay tired. Like he also told you to rest, so I will accept certain things in that aspect.
awesome? So those are the three questions we came up with. As the interviewee or as the fake social worker in this role, it's so hard not to want to ask you different questions.
Yeah.
Um, so I guess like if we go to the recommendation part that we're supposed to discuss, I think my first one in there is I wish there was something to where I could ask you like what do you do? Like what tools do you do? Like you shared about the hot yoga and the nature walks. Um, but I do know that we've talked about it previously, and I found in this conversation I didn't get to hear a lot about your prayer life, which was very important to you. So I wonder what question I could have asked that would have helped bring that up.
Mm,
Uh, I also noticed that we didn't hear much about. I'm sorry to hear the dog barking, but I we also didn't hear much about like your family traditions. I know you were really like passionate about your culture traditions. So I do think that that was something else that we could have talked about, because then that tied into her prayer, and then also tied into the 15 your quinces.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
yeah, if we asked a question about cultural traditions, we would have heard that aspect.
Yeah, I think it just depends on the type of questions. Like for me, I mean, I did mention I do have ADHD, so I respond to things based off of whatever's firing in my head and based off specifically how you ask it. So, I mean, for me personally, like, it just depends how somebody asks me a question. But for being like a client and being having a client and then being the social worker on the social worker side, I think it's just really hard to ask certain questions without seeming like you're prying into their life, but wanting to know more to where they feel like emotionally accepted to want to share more.
Yeah. Yeah. That's really good. Um, yeah, and even with the question I picked, like for some reason when I picked it, I was thinking giving the examples was important, but then I was like, oh, it's like I'm leading her to how she wants to answer or how I want her to answer. So I wished I wouldn't have done that. I think that it could be leading.
Yeah, like it's really hard to word certain things to where, because it really just directs the whole conversation if you are to be honest. And then as a social worker, of course, like when you're interviewing somebody, like you're in a professional setting and it's an appointment. So they're coming in like already knowing that they're going to be asked certain questions. So it's about making like the client feel comfortable and then slowly leading into like what they do on day-to-day basis with their own beliefs and spirituality and religion and their whole views on that.
Yeah, because I mean, like with the NASW Code of Ethics, right? The thing of it is like one of the, I guess, the values is like the dignity and worth of a person. And like how as a social worker, we're supposed to get the client to within their capacity. to help like an opportunity of change that is on them and on their regards, as opposed to and their needs instead of ours. So I kind of feel like whenever I continued the question, like I feel like if I would have said, oh, how did I say it? If I would have said, what do you feel like nourishes you spiritually, and left it there, I probably would have did a better job at sticking to that value.
Hmm.
But I don't know.
No, I agree. Like I agree with what you said.
Yeah.
And then I think all we have to do is just show the our whole written part about it. I think by you quoting the NSAW is also a reference as well. Maybe just saying the year and the whole website may do good. But we can also use Chloe's notes that she's taken down as well.
Yeah.
Yes, I did take my notes down, and I do think that with the questions that we used, it wasn't like I feel like the questions that we did have prior, there was a lot more that was said. With the questions now, like I only got like one page down of everything. But I do think that this time, so I know like last time our recommendation was like you felt, Kayla, that it wasn't much empathy going around, or like the questions and weren't we weren't able to show empathy. I do think this time that more empathy was shown. Like Frankie, you I wrote it down here. Um you mentioned like her body, how she like perked up like you were being in tune today, you were watching her. And then you also
Like social awareness.
yeah, like I forget that one the term that they use when you like they're nonverbal is like you were watching her nonverbals.
Yeah.
So what is
What
that?
is it called? It's called something. It's something behave no. It's something close to social awareness, like the word I just said.
Yeah.
Body language, there you go.
Yeah, like I got that also. And yeah.
And so, Dr. Wiley, as you're watching this, this is actually our second time doing this. We did it yesterday, but we kind of felt like we were missing some parts. So that's got a little bit of a challenge to it also. Um, but yeah, no, it was weird because um, I, yeah, I can't remember, but you definitely did. You perked up a little bit more
Yeah.
dramatically during this conversation, so it was easy to catch that.
Yeah, I normally, when I'm talking about something that I feel like is important to either me or just important in general, like I will go literally what I just did. I will have an analysis behind like what I say regularly. Like I don't just believe things to believe things. Like I will have a reason and a value or a moral tied to it. So I try to like explain it or emphasize it so that not other people want to believe what I believe, but like just understand what I'm trying to say and like get that um expression that I'm trying to express, I guess.
Yeah, and I like how you just said that, like that people don't have to believe the way you believe. Um, because I mean, again, like with social work, right? We're constantly saying NASW Code of Ethics. But yeah, like in that, like in the first part of the ethics, where it's like our commitment to our clients, right? Like that's the whole thing is me with my religious trauma, I can't come in and be like, ooh, Christianity is bad.
Mhm.
Um, so got to make sure that we've got that commitment to our clients and that we're able to listen to that. And um, yeah, I guess I'm having my own self reflection with going, oh, I did see you being positive about a Christian thing. And it was very simple and easy for me to go, yay, like that's good for you. So
Mhm.
thank you for helping me with my own healing.
No
Yeah,
problem.
I actually agree with you, Frankie. Like listening to her talk, I'm like, wow, like I'm so glad that you like have that figured out, honestly.
It's not figured out. Like you are gonna have like I think if anybody wants to explore that type of avenue, like any type of any avenue, not regarding just Christianality or whatever, um you're gonna have questions and you're gonna want to know answers. Like I would want to know. Like I did have questions and I was asking my mom and being like, well, how did this happen? And are you sure that happened? That doesn't seem like it would happen today. So just having those questions answered and then getting somebody else's viewpoint, and like some people had traumatic experiences and I wouldn't blame them for
Yeah.
wanting to believe the way that I do, but that's just because I grew up differently and I had a different environment. So it was something positive for me.
Yeah. And that's why it's very important that we understand like people have, oh, there she go. That people have different backgrounds
Yeah.
and everyone's not going to think the way that we think.
Yeah, and I think that that is the other part, right? Like, again, back to the NASW Code of Ethics, right? Is one, there's got to be cultural competence,
Mm-hmm.
which I think cultural, spirituality, religion, I think that's all very intertwined. I can't think of the social work word for that right now, but it's very intertwined. But I also, I imagine if we were working at the same place, Chloe, and was not aware of Jehovah Witness,
Yes.
and I would be able to go and consult with you and find out, like, how can I approach this more gently or things like that. So that kind of popped in my head earlier too, because I was like, what if what if the interviewee this time had been Muslim and didn't know what a Bible study was? Or
Yeah.
maybe that's the wrong religion to equate that to. But yeah, so I think the cultural competence that we're held responsible for with our code of ethics and also with the consultation of each other, I think those can all come in handy with helping with spirituality.
Yes,
Um,
I agree.
though that it's really important to remember also that we're not always going to master this part, but I think that finding out about the spirituality or the religious beliefs or non beliefs really kind of pulls the whole biopsychosociology soci, mhm,
Mm-hmm.
person together and can give us input with person and environment. Because, like Chloe, I feel like I got a little bit of information from you just sharing me about how your family and you spent that year in that. Like, I was like, oh, okay, well, there must be a close family tie.
Yeah.
Um, so, yeah. Anything else that we've got to cover? Let's make sure we got it all.
It was the written part, the APA citation, and then just our interview and introducing ourselves.
Yeah.
It's
So
really
we
weird.
so we're not supposed to write nothing then.
I think
I
we're
mean,
supposed
you
to
can
write
show
something.
it, like you can actually show it in the video, like right now, or you can
Oh, I
like
did.
share your screen as well. Oh, you did?
Yeah, I had put it up, but I was like, oh
Yeah, okay.
All right. So it sounds like we've reached all of our points. So I'm going to go ahead and stop the recording now. It's very
yeah.
weird recording this in kind of like a non-professional way and with us just chatting. So,
Yeah.
oh.